Welcome to the Cardinal Squad Show. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of Locked On Suns, the Ben Garcia Show, and a credentialed Arizona sports media member. Is this finally the game where the Arizona Cardinals have to make major changes? We'll discuss.
Jamil Douglas, former NFL offensive lineman. Is Jacoby the man for the future at quarterback for the Cardinals?
Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. 130 penalty yards today. Does that show that Jonathan Gannon has officially lost the locker room? Let's get it.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up, and welcome back into the Cardinal Squad Show. Wherever you are listening, however you are listening, thank you so much for making this show a part of your day. Reminder, Locked On Cardinal Squad Show, free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button. Do it. Thousands of Cardinals fans have already done. Become it every day or get locked onto the Cardinal Squad Show right here each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. The Arizona Cardinals get absolutely decimated for the second straight week against NFC West opponent. They continue to separate in a bad way in the NFC West. They are now 3-7 on the season. And to make matters even worse, the San Francisco 49ers took over their home stadium and made it Levi Stadium South. Instant reactions. Clancy, I'll let you go first.
Cardinals have turned into a pumpkin. And this isn't just the offensive line problems, which there weren't any today. This is the special teams. It's Chad Ryland. It's, the play calling. It's everything kind of culminated into, oh yeah, this is a bad football team right now. And I know that the Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray conversation's been the conversation. Who should it be? Well, it's Drew Petzing. Well, it's this. Well, it's that. This team hasn't been very well coached. This team hasn't produced. And this team doesn't have, outside of Trey McBride and then Michael Wilson today, who had a career day, anything you can trust. And it's painfully obvious that even a team who has more missed games due to injury, like the 49ers do, than the Arizona Cardinals, they didn't even compete today. It started off the way you expect it not to, with the 98-yard touchdown or kickoff return resulting in a touchdown 15 seconds into the game, and it didn't get any better from there.
Yeah, this was bad. I know I'm usually the sunshine and rainbows type of guy on this show, but you know that term, everyone tells you not to panic, the sky isn't falling. Well, the sky is falling for the Cardinals right now. This was about as bad as it could get in terms of the discipline of the team, in terms of, the team looking competent. It wasn't there. And so disappointing loss for sure. What I really hate to see is just the penalties. So many missed opportunities from penalties, and it seemed like the theme of this game was missed opportunities. So even from a defensive standpoint, could have had probably 4 picks in this game, missed ops. And so just a bad showing from the Cardinals. And I think right now is the time where you got to start taking a look at some things and seriously evaluating moving forward if that's the product that you're going to put out on the field.
Let me ask you this question really quick, Jamil. So in the middle of a lost season, which is what this is officially now, 3-7, this is officially a lost season. How much of this can be chalked up to like people going through the motions? Like, I'm not negating the professionalism of NFL players at all. When it comes down to it, you're an employee, you're there to earn your paycheck, whatever that may look like, whatever position you're a part of. How much of it needs to be into the smoke screen? They're like, well, even if they win out, they're still not making the playoffs. So what does it matter at this point? Like, they're in an avalanche and they don't know which way is up right now. So but how much of it can you attest to, well, this is a crapbox situation that's not going to get better?
None of it, in my opinion. I think you still had, before today, you still had a lot to play for. And I'm not speaking in terms of playoffs, but we had seen this team outside of the Seattle game show, even later in the Seattle game, but we've seen them show signs of being competitive and being able to put together drives and put together stops on defense and look like a team that could play complementary ball. Today was not that by any means. Today looked like when you come off of a bye week and things are just not clicking for you. And I did not expect to see that product on the field. There were a few bright spots: Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, the usual suspects, but outside of that, man, this was bad in my opinion. This was a bad showing, and like I said, I'm usually sunshine and rainbows, but I'll be shocked if nothing happens after a loss like this.
Have you experienced something like this before, where you're on a losing streak? I mean, you look a little bit better against the Cowboys, but then it really tumbles over. Do you remember any? I'm not telling you to throw anyone under the bus. I'm just legitimately asking, have you experienced this before? And then did someone lose their job after? Have you ever been a part of that before?
I mean, I've been a part of, staffs where coaches lose their jobs for a lot less, So, I mean, we started my rookie year with Joe Philbin. We started 1-3 on the season, and he was fired. So, before we could get back from London, he was not our coach anymore. So I think, when you're looking at the Cardinals, right, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. You see the potential of what could be with this team. You see the weapons. You see, the philosophy around we're going to run and hit. We're going to be aggressive. The reality of it is we got to get to what the truth is on the field. And that is what the Cardinals have been. The missed opportunities, they've come up short. They sold us a lot of hope, and it's about run dry, in my opinion, if you're speaking in terms of what the future holds for this Cardinals team. Like, this wasn't a game where there were sacks given up. There was 0 sacks given up in this game, and
a lot of holding. A lot
of holding, but they threw the ball 57 times. You would think that there would be some sacks in there. There was none. It was a ton of missed opportunities and bad penalties.
The Cardinals set a franchise record for penalties today. A lot of that does obviously go back to coaching, undisciplined. It was a lot of the stuff with Cliff Kingsbury that people were getting sick and tired of when it came to Cliff. And last year, it felt like they were ill-prepared. The reasoning why I chopped up last week to the Seattle Seahawks just being a much better team, and I think hit the panic button a week earlier than you guys did, which was like, maybe you just blow the whole thing up. And again, you probably still don't do that yet. However, this 49ers team, in terms of talent, wasn't that much more talented than you. And they walked into your home field and pushed you around for 15, 30, 45, 60 minutes in a game. I want to make sure I had my mouth right there. But that can't happen. Like, the 49ers don't have the same thing the Seattle Seahawks had to exploit what the Cardinals do poorly at the offensive line position. It felt like this was a separation of not just franchises, maybe even rosters if you want to go there, and a coaching mismatch that I'll ask the question again. It's like, he might be a good coach, but I don't know if you can consistently bring out a B- B coach with a bunch of A+. I just think that's going to get exploited, and it got exploited again today, man. I don't really like the injuries thing, where I've seen people kind of mention the injuries. They were mostly healthy defensively, and you got to win these games. Do you guys think it's any different today? Because I see it. I'll address it. Do you guys think it's any different today if Kyler Murray plays?
No.
No.
First of all, they weren't healthy on defense. Mac Wilson was out. Will Johnson was out.
Yeah, mostly healthy, though.
No, Garrett Williams went out midway through the game, so their top 2 corners and their starting green dot linebacker was out. Davian Taylor-Demerson was out. No, with Kyler. So here's the thing with Kyler Murray. Okay, what Kyler did well was control the clock. He didn't take a bunch of shots down the field. They did it all around, really, the line of scrimmage and to the sticks. There was no explosivity in this offense unless it was Kyler Murray using his legs. Okay. What they've done was go from 19.8 points per game with Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, James Conner for part of it, to well over that with Jacoby Brissett. And the majority of Jacoby Brissett's points were not garbage time. So the revisionist history that we're experiencing right now is lunacy to me. It is mental illness level to me with what we saw during the first 5 weeks and what we're seeing now. It's both bad. They're both bad. Varying degrees of bad. Okay, sure. If it's Drew Petzing and it's his fault, that's great. But Kyler would have won this, Kyler would have won that. You guys just like Men in Blacked yourself with that that flashy thing for what we were experiencing when Kyler Murray was here. Get off it. Like, what are we doing here? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I was a Kyler Murray guy until the Indy game.
Yeah, me too.
And then I saw this offense and I'm like, oh no, I've made a huge mistake. Jacoby Brissett is not the answer, and it's obvious neither is Kyler Murray. Yeah. And that's where we are.
Yeah. That's the truth. We don't even need to bring up this Kyler Murray thing anymore. Is the result different? Who knows? Do they win the game? Probably not. We'll never know. We're chasing ghosts in terms of what does this look like if Kyler Murray were playing. The truth about it is Kyler Murray's not the guy moving forward for the Cardinals. He's not the answer. Jacoby's not the answer, but Jacoby gives them the better chance at being competitive and operating on offense in terms of where they're at right now. So the Cardinals have a big looming question in terms of who that guy is that's going to be behind center for them. But I think, to put it in cement and put it concrete, like Kyler's not the answer, Jacoby's not the answer, but Jacoby gives you a better competitive advantage right now.
And just really quickly, everybody in the chat and all of us and everybody who's going to watch this later, we're as frustrated as you are. Okay, yep. We're all on the same side here.
Yep.
And pointing fingers and doing all this stuff is like, we don't know what's wrong. And that's the biggest issue with the Arizona Cardinals, and that's what it's been. It's the coaching, you're right. It's the quarterback play, you're right. It's the offensive line, you're right. It's the defense, you're right. It's all of it. We're all trying to sift through the ashes here on what the hell you can salvage moving forward for the rest of the year. And what could be a determinant on what this team is going to look like moving forward. And it's a struggle for all of us right now. We're trying to do our best. So we're here with you having these conversations. It's
100%.
For 100%.
Like, does anyone like watching bad football? Like, there was multiple times where I walked out of my office for the first time this year and I was like, is there anything else I could be doing? Oh, wait, that's right. This is my job, and sat my ass back down. It's crazy to me, the amount of revisionist history that has happened. But with that being said, let's pivot over to this, Clancy. What do you think? List them. What do you think the biggest problems are for this team right now? What did you watch today and say to yourself, this is the problem? This, like, outside of like the normal stuff, the offensive line is bad. They're a little bit injured, things of that nature.
Self-inflicting everything. They're their biggest hurdle. They're their biggest boulder between them and actual success. Like, yes, the holding call may have been questionable on Bam Knight's long touchdown run. It's unlucky that Elijah Higgins had the ball stripped on the goal line. Like, these are, you make your own luck. Was that The Dark Knight? That's the only Batman movie I like. You make your own luck with the dude whose face was fried. Like, good things happen to teams who are doing things the right way. You don't get bounces if you're a bad team. Hey, Jamil, let me ask you a question. In Miami, how many bounces do you guys get?
Very few.
Like, and that's not a knock on them or any other organization. It's like, bad teams don't get bounces. They don't get calls. And that's something you have to work through and get to the other side and then deserve it. Like, for me, the biggest pointing finger thing today is this is the first time I feel like Jonathan Gannon lost the team. Today. I'm not saying it's happened. I'm not saying it's next week. That's what it looked like today. And I think that's pretty clear. I mean, this is the first time Jamil said anything close to it.
Well, okay, let's move over to that. Let's move over to the other side. We'll talk about that. Whoops. Gannon, it's all good. No, we're 14 minutes in. You're perfect. Has Gannon lost the locker room? Will they survive these jobs? Whether at the end of the day tomorrow, Petzing, maybe he's gone, maybe Gannon's gone. Or are the Arizona Cardinals going to start fully anew by this time next year? Let's talk about it next. First, today's show is brought to you by the lovely folks over at Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, the favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with a high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. I love that you're getting the same quality service you had, but for a fraction of the price. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on a limited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Left the guys out of the stage there for a second. Got them back both on, keeping the show rolling. Jamil, you mentioned for the first time, maybe the Jonathan Gannon and things are starting to go sideways, losing the locker room. Did you see that today on the field? Did you see players like how I think years ago in Mexico when they played the San Francisco 49ers, ironically so, where they were just shooing guys in the end zone? Did you see players visually giving up? And if that's not the case, is this the start of losing the locker room?
I mean, there were some instances, right? I think I don't want to say that I saw players giving up. What I did see was an undisciplined team, and when you're undisciplined, it looks like you can question effort, right? I'll bring up one of the picks that Jacoby threw on the sideline. That is not on Jacoby. You're in a scramble drill, and I believe, I can't remember exactly. Elijah Higgins has to continue running back towards the quarterback in a scramble drill if you're on the sideline. Little things like that, to me, show that either you're not coaching it or the team is just not locked in enough to execute it. We don't, I spent time in Tennessee, and I always talk about Vrabel because he's a lunatic in terms of coaching the small details, and guys want to make it right because they know that's what makes the team go. I didn't see that today. And so, unfortunately, when you get an undisciplined team, now you're going to start questioning effort. Okay, did we get holding penalties because we're not in the right place at the right time? And little things like that start to pop up. So I don't know. This is the start of it, though. I will say that when you have a game like this, if it continues to snowball effect to the next week and there's another 10, 13, 14 penalties, like this is the start of it when it happens here.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, I can't help but go back to, like, say the Cardinals started, 4-1 or something like that. Say everything bounced the way it was supposed to, and now we're experiencing this with Kyler injured, whatever, and Jacoby's playing, and then Kyler's for sure coming back off IR if they win all those games and he's starting, all of those things. Like, I wonder if this is one of those things where there were signs and this is it. Like, this is the main stage, and they were singing on the side stages at Coachella up until this point. Like, I don't think that's what it was. I think everybody loves JG. I think he's a good coach. I think it's unfair in the division that he's in to have to compare to the other guys. I think this is a 1v1 kind of thing. But good coaches don't lose to Tennessee. Good coaches don't almost lose to Carolina. I don't ever say that NFL players quit, because they don't. This is their livelihood. Why would they ever quit to maybe get replaced? Like, it doesn't make any rational sense. But when everything is Murphy's lawing in your direction already after that Seattle loss, and you give up almost a touchdown in the opening kickoff the next game, that's really all, unless they came back and won this game. And I know that Jeff Rodgers has been the best coordinator the Cardinals have had for years. Like, that's kind of it for me. If he would have housed that, I would have been like, oh, God, what now? Like the first snap after the embarrassing game from last week, and you let him house it, it's like, I don't know, man. And then, 17, it's like a Jamar Chase, Joe Flacco receiving line for penalties, 17 for 130. It's just, all signs are pointing not away from it anymore.
Do you take it away from Jonathan Gannon for just a second?
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that can motivate Gannon? And I'm still waiting, just as I'm keeping an eye on this stuff. As of right now, 5:42 p.m., Gannon still has not made his way to the press conference room, according to Teo Mackey. The longest it's taken him to come out for a post-game presser, so read into that what you will. Do you think there's any chance now that Gannon maybe tries to scapegoat Petzing to save his own arse?
I don't think it'd be a scapegoat. I mean, I think if you told me that he fired him, I don't think Jonathan Gannon's not getting fired this year. You're not firing a head coach and a coordinator.
Not in the middle of the season. But I think you're maybe trying to save it, like save your job later on. Like, oh, no. Petzing was actually the problem in week 11. Let me get my new offensive coordinator. We'll get it figured out next year. That's what I mean by scapegoating him.
No.
Push all the attention away from him after this embarrassment.
Well, I mean, Jamil can speak to it better than me. It's not a scapegoat if it's Petzing. People have been wanting Petzing's head for 2 years now. You know,
was it Petzing? Was it Petzing today?
Or was it you think it was more the players today?
I mean, Petzing ain't committing penalties.
Yeah.
You know,
but,
like there's a fine line, you know, and I think sometimes it gets blurred. Like, yes, play calling may be bad at times, but that's not the reason that a guy doesn't finish through the end zone with the ball in his hand for a touchdown. That's not the reason that a guy doesn't run his route full speed, you know, coming back to the quarterback in a scramble drill. Like, I don't know that we can say that this game is, sure, if you want to scapegoat, yeah, say Petzing. But I don't know that we can say that this game is on Drew Petzing. I mean, they've been down the last 2 weeks before I turned on the game at they're right at the time that it started, and they were down 7 points already. You know, like, they've been down every single week, and the games get out of hand. Like, but I don't feel like this was a Drew Petzing thing. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being the sunshine and rainbows guy. This is a Drew Petzing thing.
So if you see 17 for 130, is that players, or is that because, like, with the Cliff days, it was because the Cardinals were, like, culture-wise, I saw Richie put it in the chat, like, culture-wise, it's like, there's a reason why the Raiders are the most penalized team every year, regardless of who's coaching, regardless of who's playing, and there's a reason why the Chiefs aren't over the last 15 years, because of who's coaching, because of who's playing. 17 for 130 for a team that 2 years ago was one of the least penalized teams in the league.
That falls on the head coach.
Got it.
That falls on the head coach. So
then ask that question to Jamil. Well, you just asked me. Do you think that anything rolls today?
I mean, I'm interested to see what he says in his press conference. Why is it taking him so long to get up there?
Jamil, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. What do coaches say after getting your ass beat for this second straight week? Like, I mean,
I've been in locker rooms where you're in this situation, right? Not a ton of them, but I have been in those locker rooms, and there is usually a boiling point, right? And maybe Jonathan Gannon has reached his boiling point, and there's some hard conversations that are either being had. Player may have voiced his opinion. I don't want to speculate, but that's just what it is in terms of when you deal with a loss like this, and the season has been as much of a roller coaster ride. But typically coaches are pretty good about getting to the podium when they're supposed to. And so I don't know. I think if we're speaking in terms of discipline of a team, though, that falls on the head coach. That is what you're preaching to your team. Do you emphasize that, you know, Mike Vrabel had a slogan, and it was there's good football, bad football, and there's that gets you beat. And you can't do the stuff that gets you beat. Like, and if we do the stuff that gets us beat, that's bad coaching, is what he would say. And so I lean towards that. Bad coaching when you have a ton of things that get you beat.
Yeah. Ben, just want to let you know. I'll let you know what that third word was after the show.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, Ben.
Yeah,
I'll draw a diagram. I'll let you know. So you're up to speed, buddy.
Ben has really young ears. I have to protect his ears.
Yeah, it's fine. I really appreciate that. Yeah. when you have so much goodwill, though, towards this that Jonathan Gannon has had since week one. Everybody's ready to play. Week one of 2023. Everybody's ready to play. Everybody's leveled up. Everybody's on the same page, regardless if you win or lose. Does that immediately expire when you're in a situation like this? Like, there's a statute of limitations when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's like up until this point, up until that Tennessee game, everybody was still lockstep with JG.
Yeah.
Like, does that fall like immediately during 5 or 6 games like
Well,
this?
I'll tell you this. It depends on, does your coach stay the same guy as you're going through the turmoil of a season? If you start to see your coach change who he is when things go bad, wait, this isn't who you were. Like, you've been cool with us this whole time, and now that we're losing, you're changing the vibe of the building, things like that. But I think when you go through a season like this, it's only a matter of time before a couple guys in the locker room, start voicing their opinion. That spreads through the rest of the locker room, and it's only a matter of time before it gets said in a frustration, type of mode to a coach post game after a loss like this. Like, these guys, trust me, these guys are very prideful. And a 41-22 loss to a division opponent at home is very sour in a locker room after the game.
I would kind of have to agree with Jamil about, like, just like, disclaimer, I want Drew Petzing gone too. I want Kyler Murray gone. I want a fresh start. Up until last week, I would have said Jonathan Gannon could stay. Maybe you could still talk me into that nonsense. I think him being a B coach in a division with a lot of A's is going to continue to get exploited, time in and time out. What's his record against the NFC West? Not very good. But I didn't see anything today where I was like, the 2-point conversion call was kind of bad. I didn't maybe love some of the 4th down play calls. Sure. But, like, they outgained them in the first half. They had more plays than they did. They had more time possession than they did. Like, they outgained the San Francisco 49ers by 207 yards today. A lot of that is garbage time. And again, Petzing's got to go, but it felt like they lost today because lack of discipline. Fumbling the ball at the 1-yard line, Imari DiMercato style, except,
we've seen that twice. We've seen it
exactly.
Twice.
And we have all the penalties, a franchise record dating back to 1936, even right when Clancy and Jamil were born. So like, it's to the point. It's to the point where maybe it is just crumbling. Maybe losing takes a toll and you can't go back from it anymore. And again, I think it needs even more because it's NFC West opponents, right?
Well, I'll tell you what's disappointing is you bring in a defensive-minded head coach, right? Defensive-minded head coaches are usually known for being disciplined and having structure. And so when you have a game where all of these penalties trickle into your team, what did you hire the defensive head coach for? You might as well have went and got you a Mike McDaniel and let guys be friendly and be creative and all different type of motions and sets. Instead, like, what is the point of having a defensive-minded head coach if your team does not have that mentality of at least the discipline part of it?
I mean, listen, the defense did for a large portion. There was a Denzel Burke bad illegal contact call. There was a pass interference call on Max Melton when he took an offensive charge and they called it on him, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. I think that resulted in points. But, like, I think the one thing that we haven't broached yet, which I just am not smart enough to have realized it yet, is this is the part of the season where teams make adjustments. This is the part of the season where this is the second time teams have seen each other a large portion of times in division. And I'm not ready to have the conversation yet because it doesn't need to be had, but Nick Rallis needs to have a conversation about him at some point. And I think this is the time of year when you really start to see who actually adjusts. And it's not week to week. It's, this for 3 weeks from now when you're watching film early. The Arizona Cardinals have had a proclivity to never adjust. With Cliff, didn't matter. Had a great first half, same offensive output in the second half. The defense is going to adjust. Vance Joseph couldn't adjust. Like, this is a thing where the Cardinals have a game plan, and it seems like there's no adjustments made during the entirety of the game, and you just hope it works. So, I'm not saying that Nick Rallis needs to have a conversation whatsoever. He's been the best coach of the three, and he's been down Garrett Williams and Will Johnson in some form or fashion through the last 6 weeks. So it's everything, and that's terrifying because there's not one thing or two things that could fix what's going on for the rest of the year at all. Like, not even talking about playoffs. There's just not.
Is there anything you guys think that can fix this team? Like, let's just zoom, 10,000 feet in the air. Is it really as simple as, like, if they get the right quarterback, things will go back to being fine? Or is it much deeper than that? Is this a fundamental Arizona Cardinals? Like, remember the beginning of the season, Clancy? And I'm, again, not trying to call you out for this or anything, but, like, remember when we talked about how, like, Monty or JG, could they lose their jobs at the end of the season? I think I was the only person saying, like, I don't know, if they have the season from hell and the Cardinals do Cardinals things, maybe they do lose their jobs. And it was like, and you kind of said, I think smartly, like, okay, yeah, then aliens have to come to State Farm Stadium, because the only thing that would ruin this is the fundamental structure of the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe it's not them. Maybe it stems all the way up to ownership, or I don't know, maybe a good coach and quarterback can fix it all. I know that's a lot of words, but what do you think about that?
I don't know how to unpack that in 10 seconds before we have to go to break. But I mean, I don't. I do remember saying if I had to pick between JG, Kyler, and Monti Ossenfort, I would take Monti Ossenfort. I do remember saying that before the season started, and I will hold to that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just looking to try to see if Gannon ever came to the podium. He still has not. With that being said, let's move over to Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby, sounds like Jacoby Brissett said, so Jacoby is talking right now. Gannon still is not. So that's per Teo Mackey. That's weird. That's really weird. So we'll unpack that. I'll continuously give you guys updates. I'll be looking at both. With that being said, Jacoby Brissett looked really good for a couple weeks, and Jamil was high on life. And maybe he's went back to being Jacoby, which isn't a bad quarterback. But maybe he's not suited to be the starting quarterback for the future. Let's discuss next. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers, $300 in bonus bets when your first bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So let's start here. It sounds like Jonathan Gannon did go to the podium. Just to update everyone, I did text our guy, Donnie Druin. He said he talked, but it took a while, but he talked. I haven't seen anything out there, but Jacoby Brissett is talking now. So with that being said, Jamil, is Jacoby Brissett the answer for the Cardinals quarterback, maybe stopgap position next year, or is this team going a different direction than starting quarterback?
Oh, no. Next year, no. I don't want to get ahead of myself, guys. I never said that he was going to be the answer moving forward for the future of the Cardinals. Everything I've based my assessment on Jacoby is he gives the Cardinals the best chance to win this year. I did not feel like the team. I feel like the team plays harder with Jacoby. I feel like there's more production on offense with Jacoby. Now, that being said, we're evaluating this guy who has stood in pockets and taken hit after hit. I know there wasn't a sack today, but there were pressures. He's still thought in half and delivering a strike, right? And if I didn't give you a running game to complement the pass game, I don't. You got to give me a quarterback that I think they had 36 yards on the ground today. Mm-hmm. So put any quarterback in that position and tell me how they fare versus a fairly good defense versus the Niners. I think at least schematically they do some good things. I know they've lost some key guys, but from a schematic standpoint, they've always been at least with Robert Saleh, they've been very hard to kind of run your offense against, right? But I just think to answer your question, no. I don't expect Jacoby to be the quarterback next year. The starting quarterback, no. He is a number 2 quarterback. I saw you tweet that, Ben. That is 100% true. He has started games in this league. Experience matters in terms of the quarterback position, and he's a guy that's not going to get rattled or turn down any competition. That is what you need when you're in a year where you're 3-7. Can my quarterback still go out there and not turn it in, because it's going to be terrible if he does. So, no, he's not the guy for the future. But right now, I mean, he had 2 receivers that had combined 25 receptions for about 300 yards. 300 yards. So, and Greg Dortch had 6 for 66. So
he also completed an NFL record 47 passes.
47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40.
And it wasn't dink and dunk, right? It was.
I mean,
400.
Some of it was
400.
Well, yeah, but you're going to throw short too.
Sure,
you're not just throwing 18 yards down the field. There's here's the thing: is the offensive line. I know that the pass rush obviously wasn't nearly as good as Seattle's. Kelvin Beachum. Maybe I should be the personnel guy for the Cardinals. I don't understand.
O-line coach. You should be the O-line coach. I would
love
to see you close to O-line.
Hell yeah. I put the eating fries and Justin Fry. He's like, it's not perfect, okay? But Jacoby Brissett is a volume thrower. He can be a volume thrower. Should he be the quarterback for next year? I don't know. He's under contract, so he's not going anywhere. So depends on what they do. Do you want to bring in Mac Jones? Now it doesn't seem like such a terrible idea. Do you want to go and get a vet somewhere else and have 2 veterans and you go Russell Wilson and Jameis and just figure it out? Do you draft a rookie in the set? Like, the Cardinals are going to draft top 10, okay, at this point. You're not drafting a quarterback in this class unless it's Fernando Mendoza. You're not doing it unless you want to take a flyer in the 4th or 5th. If you want to take the kid who can't stay healthy from Arizona State, good for you. This would be a laughable franchise who would just be on par with what they've done forever. It'll be Josh Rosen part 2, okay? Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you don't have a run game and if you have to throw the ball 55 times to stay in games. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. And that's why it's hard for the offensive line. It's why there's more holding penalties. It's why all of these things are happening, because the Cardinals can't run the ball. They can't pass protect on the right side for the majority of the time unless you're up against a non-Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and Michael Williams pass rush. Like, this is not what Jacoby Brissett in a vacuum is. This is what they need him to be because they have no other option right now.
Yeah.
So is he the guy for the future? Probably not, but he's going to be under contract next year anyways. So maybe he'll start the season next year, and it could be significantly worse, especially if everybody's healthy and you have an actual starting running back in the NFL holding the ball and not their 5th and 6th guys.
Doesn't it feel like you have to move on from this regime? Because for some of the reasons Clancy had mentioned, and I've got to point to this, the quarterbacks in college aren't great. Isn't there some worry that this regime could trade some capital for a guy they've talked themselves into being better than he actually is, and then Jacoby Brissett is maybe the starter at the beginning, and then they give it to whoever it is, let's just say Sam Levitt for sake of argument? Like, doesn't it feel like, I know people say like they didn't choose Kyler, but they kind of did. That's why they came to this job. They've had their chance. It's just time to move on from that. And yeah, Jacoby Brissett, I think he'd be great as a mentor, so he should be here. And maybe he starts the season of the Cardinals draft a quarterback and the guy comes in week 8. But like, it just all points to, I think you just need to wipe everything clean again, including Kyler, who also plays a role in all of this dysfunction. Not all of it, but some of it.
It's easy to say fire everybody and draft the quarterback. What's it look like? What's that look like? Oh, well, they're going to go get somebody. They're going to go get a good head coach from a team who's winning because those are easily given up. They're going to go get a quarterback who is not going to go top 3 because, good guys just fall, and it'll be good for the Cardinals. And you know what? It's going to work this time. And they're going to go find an OC who will leave that with no quarterback coming here with a bunch of questions in a dysfunctional organization. Like, it's easy to say, wipe it, start over, get a new credit card. It's like, what are we doing here? It's a lazy way to look at how you can incrementally regrow this team. And I don't have all the answers. I don't have one. I'm probably the dumbest person on this panel. But looking at it, I'm the prettiest at least. So at least I got that.
Anyways, listen.
When you look at the regrowing of this team and looking at the quarterback position specifically, it's not as easy as go get somebody else. It's the laziest thing that people say.
Guys,
it's like good luck,
guys. The Cardinals are not a quarterback away from being a good team.
Do you see that if they're healthy?
Disagree.
Like, do you see that if James Conner's here, if Marv's here, if the defense is fully healthy? Like,
I'll still say that I don't believe that the Cardinals have the offensive line to compete with. Let's say, I said this early on in the preseason. I said that the Cardinals don't have an identity. We never see them in games in a 4-minute mode. We never see them be able to dictate the tempo of a game or be aggressive in a sense of this is what we're going to do on the ground, and that's going to open up everything else. Without that, the Cardinals are not going to win. They're not going to take over the division, or they're not going to be the team that we want them to be. Teams that can do that are in the conversation for a reason. They built the offensive line and you don't have to be great. I wouldn't say the Rams have a great offensive line, but when the Rams need to run the ball, the Rams run the ball. And so in terms of, are they a quarterback away? Sure. A quarterback could, boost your production on the field. But at the end of the day, can you run the ball? Can you protect your guy back there and give him time? And he's not getting sawed in half while he's delivering 57 passes. Like, that's the reality of it. We're sitting here, and because Jacoby hasn't gotten hurt, we're not talking about it, but he very well could get hurt any moment behind this offensive line. Like, that's the reality of it. And so you have to bolster your offensive line from the inside out. And then, I would say go get your quarterback. But until then, like, there's a reason why these teams that are in the conversation every year have focused on O-line and D-line play, and they move from there.
This isn't Drew Petzing's offense that has been run the last couple weeks. This is fourth quarter, 2-minute drill offense that
100%.
the Cardinals have run. So for those that are knocking Drew Petzing, he gets part of the blame. Ain't nobody's plan to throw the ball 57 damn times. So if you can't run the ball.
You literally want no quarterbacks doing that, just so we're clear. There's not a single quarterback you want throwing the ball more than 40 times, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Right.
No.
That's right.
I mean,
listen, I do disagree, and I wanted to make sure, everyone was done there. Like, I do disagree with Jamil's take on this team isn't close. They've got players. That once they find the quarterback, whoever that is, like, let's say Mac Jones isn't Sam Darnold, but let's say he is a better version of Mac Jones than we've seen over the years. He kind of figured it out in San Francisco, a la Daniel Jones and Baker and Sam to some extent, right? And he comes to Phoenix because they sign him. I do think this team is better.
He comes to Phoenix because they sign him, and he looks like Mac Jones from the Patriots. That is exactly what happens.
Hey, that's playoff Mac Jones to you. Beat Josh Allen in a game too. In a snowstorm where he handed the ball, where he threw the ball.
I was there.
That was a regular season game. That wasn't a playoff game.
They lost to the Bills in the playoffs. In that, actually.
Yeah, when he threw 3 times.
There was a reason. There was a reason why he threw the ball 3 times. They didn't want him passing the ball. Okay?
Well, it was also snowing.
Yeah, it was also 150 miles per hour. You were in that game?
Yeah, I was there. I was in that game.
My God.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
When the Cardinal season really goes down the drain, we're just gonna save the last segment for Jamil's story times.
Just tell stories the whole time.
In inclement way.
We'll dim the lights and get some popcorn, and I'll tell some good stories.
Ben's just gonna try and find incriminating evidence. He's like, "Ooh, finally, it comes to me."
yeah, for sure.
He's gonna tell himself.
So this is your least favorite offensive lineman or coach you ever played for? Yes or no?
Relax.
I just don't think. I don't think it's fair, man. This team's got weapons. You find a running back in the draft.
Every team's got weapons,
very easy.
Man.
That's not necessarily. If Marvin Trey,
the left tackle, top according to Pro Football Focus, top 6 left tackle. He's at 6. Trey McBride's a top 3 tight end, so we don't have to discuss it. You got an elite safety in Buddha. You've got Marv, who we can say has talent. Michael Wilson was absolutely destroying Diamonor Lenore all day. Like, they've got talent. They've got weapons. It's why I just think maybe there is a world where you run it back with this regime and they go find their quarterback. But also, like, do I want to go down that realm? I don't want to be a coaching staff acting out of desperation, because that's where things start to go south, where I think if you brought in a new regime, they might feel like that's not, like, they have a little bit more of a leash to figure it out. But that's,
I don't know what I don't know what all that means. All I'm saying is they ain't close. They're not close.
But just one super, like, so I'm not saying that they're going to find a superstar, under the bed or something, but like, if they can find, so say you draft the best right tackle in the draft, okay? And then the second round, you draft an edge rusher, you trade back into the first, whatever it is. You got everybody healthy coming back. Trey Benson takes a step. We're going to see him at some point this season. And you're in a more controlled environment. Like, I think that's what it is. The Cardinals have never really been in a controlled environment. They're always at the whim of somebody else's life. They're living somebody else's life and hoping to survive.
Listen, all of those things that you just said tells me that they ain't close, because you got to hit on all of those draft picks and make sure
just
it ends out there.
You got to find the right tackle. They've done well. Like, Marv has shown, listen, I get it. I agree. But they ain't close to winning a Super Bowl? Of course. 80% of football isn't.
Yeah, that's different.
Okay.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about close to just
We're talking about 10 wins.
Get to the playoffs. Yeah,
let's just get to the
playoffs. Yeah.
I think this roster was close to start the season.
I guess they're close then. Yeah.
No, but
Jamil, we're not all part of winning organizations. We didn't all win a Super Bowl like you. We have to take baby steps.
I mean, listen, they got 3 wins right now, fellas. So
7 more to go.
7 more to go, man. We'll be all right.
Next on Locked On Cardinal Squad Show, we'll tune over to Jamil Douglas's least favorite teammates he played with. In all actuality, we'll talk about some lessons of the game, and we'll do it next.
You might be on there.
Keeping the show rolling here, finishing it out. Because we mentioned Gannon, it took a while to get on the presser. This is per our guy Donnie Druin, who makes some appearances on Locked On Cardinals with Clancy sometimes. He said the message to his team was, we're on the map. When the alarm goes off tomorrow, you better wake up, whatever the hell that means. On penalties, said he knew the crew was a high flag crew going into this week, clearly frustrated. Took ownership of the team's shortcomings, spoke with Michael Bidwell after the game. That's the one I wanted to get to. What the hell do you think that means?
Michael Bidwell forgot that there was a football game today. And he's like, oh, how'd it go, guys?
He was in the building.
He was in the building, I
saw him.
I saw them show him in the box, and he didn't look too thrilled at the product on the field. So who knows what that conversation was like, but you would have to be a fool to think that they're just having a normal conversation. If you mention that to the press, like that's.
How often have you seen a coach talk to an owner after the game?
I mean, all the time. You know,
okay.
You see it all the time, but coaches don't always say it after in their press conference because it's regular. So for him to come out and verify that, why would he say that,
Well, yeah, I mean, that is a little weird. I mean, Michael Bidwell isn't Jerry Jones, so we're probably not going to get a vote of confidence for anybody, which is, the death nail. If Michael Bidwell comes out tomorrow and says, I'm fully behind Jonathan Gannon, he's getting fired next week. Okay, that's what it was with Cliff Kingsbury and Josh Rosen. He's our quarterback. That's what it's like. Once you get a vote of confidence, you're gone. So I don't think that's going to happen because Michael Bidwell shies away from any sort of,
unless it's
anything that isn't perfect. He's like, things are going wrong. I'm going to go to my ivory tower. Hopefully people forget that I exist, kind of thing. I don't think it's like, to think that they don't talk after every game is just as media. It's like, it's folly. They tell us 3% of what actually goes on. Okay, so this is much ado about nothing, and somebody probably won't get fired. They've got Jacksonville next week at home. If they lose to Jacksonville at home, maybe that'll be the final nail in all of the coffins. But I don't think that this is it yet.
I'm going all the way back to last week now, but what did you guys think if you guys saw this? when Jonathan Gannon was directly asked if there needs to be some coaching changes, he scoffed at the media, kind of did it smugly, and said no, in the most condescending way you can. And not that does he regret that, but like, does he regret standing by his guy so much and Drew Petzing? I don't know, man. I thought someone was going to get fired after the Titans game. I thought someone was going to get fired after the Seahawks game. Maybe they don't keep score. I was officiating again. Maybe they're just letting them play ball and they're not keeping score there.
I think there's a little pride involved in this, right? Like when you're a head coach and you get the job, you go and you pick your staff, right? And so it's just like when GMs want to be proven right for the players that they pick in the draft, and so they give them multiple chances to be successful or put them in position to be successful. It's the same with head coaches and picking their staff. They want to, until it's their head that's being put on the chopping block, they want to make it known that they are confident in their staff because that is who they picked and who they believe is the best out of what was available for them to choose. And so, he's going to answer like that. He's going to give those answers. If you ask him, does a coaching change need to be made? It is his job to evaluate that. So he doesn't want to be wrong in that sense.
Yeah. He's also, he protects him, protects everybody. It's what a good leader does. And I know it makes him look dumb sometimes, but you'd rather have that than him talking crap. I'm not saying that's what head coaches do, but this isn't an original story. Coaches not giving any sort of information. It's not about not keeping score. It's about, does it make it better right away or just wait another 7 weeks and then bid adieu? It's like, what good does it do to fire Drew Petzing right now? Well, you got to fire somebody. Okay, that's cool. That's what everybody says you got to do, so I get it. But what good does it do? It proves a point. Okay, you a big man. What does it matter?
You big man.
Really, what does it matter this season if you fire Drew Petzing or keep him? Jamil, if the offense looks the same way that it does for the next 7 weeks, or if it looks like it's a part of the Mesozoic era because somebody never called plays is going to be calling plays, what would you rather have? Like, that's not rhetorical. What would you rather have?
In terms of
the OC that currently sits, who obviously you don't think is the hugest deal from today, which I can get behind, or somebody else who's a sitting duck until they find somebody next season?
I mean, listen, at this point, you keep the guy through the season and you part ways at the end of the season.
Is it the same thing for the head coach if you're going to part ways with the head coach?
Well, it depends on if there's some – see, this is my thing. Like,
it's tougher. That's tougher, obviously.
Yeah, because you don't know who's going to be available at the end of the season, right? And so there's a sense of like, all right, we fire our guy. Who do we have someone in the pipeline that we know is right for this job? Do we think that we're going to be able to seal the deal on someone to come in and be the Cardinals head coach? Do we have the potential? Do people find this job as an exciting one, which I'm sure they do, but I think the head coach is a little different because from an operation standpoint, there's a lot that is placed on the head coach. So when you do fire a head coach, there's a lot of moving parts, but I mean, we've seen it done. It just depends on what your preference is.
That was 27-21. You didn't answer the question.
Hey,
do you think that it's better? Say that they're moving off of Jonathan Gannon at the end of the year. Let's do that hypothetical. Is it better now to cut ties or to play it out, be more kumbaya, because he's done a lot for the culture for this thing, even though he's fighting against a demon up top in Michael Bidwell? Is it better to be, go? Or, let's hug it out until the end of the year and then move on?
You play it out.
Even if you know. Now,
okay. And I know I spoke differently in terms of Kyler, but that is the immediate product on the field. But I think with the coach, you play it out because of there's a reputation that you have around the league, and so you want to be on the right side of that, in my opinion.
Cool. Yeah.
100. Well, I just think at this point you're keeping JG. I don't think you can fire him. Also, I just think it deters really good candidates to know that in the middle of the season, like these are still people, and you guys know this, but just for the audience, he got kids in school. Wife's got to up and move. Maybe she's moving away from family. Like it's more than that. When you can see the writing on the wall and maybe prepare for it a little bit, then just one day they lock you out of your office. That is what dysfunctional organizations do. I'd be curious. When was the last time the Cardinals fired a head coach in season? When was the last time they fired a coordinator in season? I know Mike McCoy. Was that Mike McCoy in 2018?
Yeah. Because Cliff was calling, it was Cliff and Vance Joseph for the next 5 years or 4 years.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Well,
no, it was Steve Wilkes. It was Steve Wilkes with that team.
He got fired at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, but Mike McCoy got fired first, and then you were right. The Cliff Vance Joseph thing after that, before he's got you. Can you fire at the end of the season? Can you fire Jonathan Gannon and keep Monti Ossenfort, or do you have to keep both?
No,
I'm sorry.
This ain't a package deal.
Yeah.
Well, this was
an arranged marriage.
All I'm saying is he did hire him.
Right. So we just saw Brian Daboll and Joe Shane. We just saw Brian Daboll get fired, and Joe Shane is still the GM of the Giants. So what happens is you fire a head coach, your GM is now on a prove it year. So that would
that sounds awful.
Maybe be the case, but I don't want to speculate.
It sucks because like the injuries for the first and second round picks from Monti Ossenfort is like 40% of games missed. Taylor Mackey put that out. 40% of games missed. Marv, Will Johnson, Walter Nolan missed half the year. Bijay Ojulari just started playing after 18 months. Darius Robinson missed almost his whole first year. But like in the draft vacuum, they're all blue chippers. Like it's crazy.
Oh man, this guy.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like in the grand scheme of everything, this is bad. They have a way out of it. You just don't know how long it's going to take to get out of it and what it's going to look like. That seems so general and dumb. But like they've still got 2.5 months of football left.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, also Mike McDaniel, the Mike McDaniel, Joe Shane thing, like it makes sense. It just up for debate because I would wonder if you want a lame duck GM potentially on a prove it year selecting your potentially next quarterback. But hey, Howie Roseman did it. Also got a couple of rings out of it. So we'll talk about it then. With that being said, we got a couple of people in the chat not thrilled with us about Jacoby Brissett. Arnold here. You guys were so right about Jacoby. I just totally forget about the day where we all decided Jacoby Brissett was the answer to all the Cardinals issues, Jamil.
I mean, what were we? I don't know.
Tyler got hurt.
Arnold. Arnold. I loved it. I used to love Hey Arnold when I was a kid. So
Ben doesn't know that one either.
I know the football head. I remember. That was back in your guys' day in the early 60s.
Listen,
you're just upset that you failed your driver's license exam.
We have selective hearing sometimes when we're listening to this show, right? Like, I would like to know what I was wrong with about Jacoby Brissett. The team has still, yes, they lost this game. Yes, penalties, all type of things have happened the last couple of weeks. That being said, Jacoby has not played terrible since he's taken over. Like any other team, I think you look at his performance and you say, this guy is someone that we can trust to be in the game. I know he threw the 2 picks today. I don't believe one of those picks was on him. The other one was on a 3rd and 13, and it's basically a punt. So on the next down, I think. So I just don't believe that we can sit here and say, you guys were so right about Jacoby, like, and be condescending. We can't do that.
It's just so funny, man. Like I agree with Clancy. It's sports mental illness. If you think
I said that jokingly, first of all.
No, sports. Sports delusion. Like I think we're not talking about the other stuff, obviously. And all like fan is short for fanatic. Fans emote. Fans are crazy. Like that's fine. But what I would say, listen, we love our guy Hey Arnold in the chat. But what I will say is,
we love him.
what I would say is, if you think this game is that much more different with Kyler Murray and he has no James Conner and his offensive line stinks and there's 15 penalties and Marvin Harrison Jr. is out and the defense is missing a couple of guys, although I think, fine. I can't go to make-believe land with you. And that's okay. That's okay. Like, if you thought that it was going to be any different, that's fine.
I mean,
with that being said.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. We're good.
No, Clancy.
Yeah, wait, Clancy, dunk on him. But we're not.
No, I'm not. Why would I dunk on people?
Not dunk. It's a wrong word, all right? We're just trying to hype you up. Wrong word.
Not
dunking on anyone. Not dunking on anyone. Speak your piece.
Neither situation is a good one. We're looking for the positives in the only situation that is apparent right now. Like, listen, I love, like, just go. We're trying to find the positives in what we can right now from an offense that has no run game, a backup quarterback who threw the ball 53 times or whatever it was, and threw for over 400 yards, and the Cardinals still lost by double digits. That's pretty much what it is.
Arnold, we love you. We're in pain just as much as you are. I wish you'd spell Kyler correctly the first time, but listen, when you're in a rage like that, double vision, you're not sure what you're picking. Right. And so we're all here with you, man. We're all here with you. None of us are happy. We hate covering a team that's garbage, but we are excited to get to do what we get to do, because not everyone gets this awesome opportunity. But with that being said, follow us on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the stream. And we will talk to you guys later this week when hopefully tempers have settled at least a little bit and we can maybe evaluate this team with a little bit clearer of a head. We'll talk to you guys later on this.